Okay, for problem number 1, all I have to do is identify this point. I don't have to worry about anything below it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what each of these are going to count by. First of all, how many jumps does it take to get from 0 to 1? Not 9. 10. So that means each of these is worth a tenth. So we've got 1/10, then we've got 2/10. So this right here is what would be 2/10. But remember, we can simplify 2 over 10. 2 over 10 would simplify to 1/5. So you should get 1/5 for that answer. For problem number 2, okay, this time we're going backwards. How many jumps does it take to get from 0 to -1? How many jumps is that? 5. So that means that each of these is worth a fifth. So we've got -1/5, -2/5, -3/5. So this value here is -3 over 5. Okay. For problem number 3. For problem number 3, how many jumps does it take to get from 0 to 1? 4. There's 4 jumps. So that is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1 whole, and then we get another 1/4. So A is going to be 1. So we got 1 and 1/4. 1 and 1/4 is what A is going to be located at. 1 and 1/4 because you passed the 1 mark. Okay. Problem number 4. Taking a look here. What are the each tally is going to be? What does it take? How many jumps is it? Rajay? Go ahead, Rajay. 3. Okay. So we have 1/3, 2/3, and then 1 whole. Then it repeats 1/3, 2/3, 2 whole. Then 1/3 and 2/3, and it keeps going. So here, this point is going to be 2 and 1/3. We're going to have 2 and 1/3 for that value. Can you boys separate? Scoot down like 1 seat. Yeah. Thank you. All right, go ahead and flip it on over to the next page. We're going to be talking about multiplication and division word problems. So we've already gone through all the key words from multiplication and division in our last unit. So just reiterating again that with multiplication and division, you've got, multiply, times, twice, by, for product, double, triple, area. For division, you've got your quotient, equal parts, you're splitting it into equal parts, or how much does it go into. One of the things that you need to make sure that you are aware of, though, with multiplication, now that you've got fractions, there's another key word that we can use. So I want you guys to write this down. If you see a fraction and then the word of and then an original value. So if I say 2/3 of my class, then that means I'm going to multiply 2/3 times how many people are in my class. Okay, so anytime you see a fraction followed by the word of, you should be thinking of multiplication. A fraction of something is going to be multiplying by that fraction, taking whatever that something is, however much is in that something, and multiplying it by the fraction that it's been given to. Now also remember, we said before that if you see the words per, each, and every in the problem, not in the question, but in the problem, that's going to indicate that you've got multiplication. Per, each, and every inside the problem. Armand, you should be copying. Okay. If you see per, each, or every, but this time it's inside the question, then that's going to be division. If per, each, or every is inside of your actual question, then that's going to be a division problem. So the difference between where they're placed is going to determine what kind of multiplication or division are you doing. Okay, so if we're taking a look here, Derek and Anita each made a bowl of punch. Derek made 3/4 a gallon. Anita made 4.5 times as much. How much did Anita make? So the first thing that we want to do is we want to identify the operation. What operation is this going to be, and what keywords identified that? Coven? And what keyword? Okay, so yeah, there's an each, but there's also something else. Times, right? She made 4.5 times as much. That's much more of a leading multiplication kind of problem. So I know that we're going to use multiplication because of the word times. And we're going to take 3/4, which was Derek's, and we're going to multiply it by 4.5. And that's going to come out to 27/8, which, as we've said before, we can simplify those. That's 3 3/8. Okay, so 3/4 times 4.5 is 27/8. You get 3 3/8 when you simplify it into mixed numbers. Let's take a look at problem number 2. Problem number 2, at the end of the night, a pizza place had 2/3 of a pizza left over. The 4 employees each took home an equal amount. Okay, there's a couple of key words that I know would look like one or the other, but there's one that's going to stand out more than the other. So there's 4 employees that each took home an equal amount. How much did they each get? What operation are we going to do? If we have this amount of pizza and we have 4 employees that are going to get an equal amount each, how much did they each get? Rajay? What operation did you do? Division, right? We're going to divide. First thing that we can identify is the fact that it says equal amounts. Remember, if there's equal parts or equal amounts, that means it's going to be a division problem. You also had the keyword each inside of the question. I know that we see each inside the problem as well. I know we see that, but if you see each inside the question, it trumps everything. It overrules the other eaches. Okay, if there is an each inside of the question, it overrules anything else. So this is going to be a division problem. We are going to divide, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the pizza, how much pizza we had, and we're going to divide it equally amongst the 4 employees, which, as Rajay already said, it's going to come out to 1/6. Okay, a sandwich is 4 3/4 inches long. Mary eats 3/4 of the sandwich. How much did she eat? A sandwich is 4 3/4 inches long. Mary eats 3/4 of the sandwich. How much did she eat?
What?
So she ate 3/4 of the sandwich. So we want to know in inches, how much did she eat? In inches, how much did she eat? What operation? So remember, this is the one of those weird ones. What operation is it going to be? What operation is it going to be? Nope. Well, if it's not division, it's multiplication. But why is it multiplication? Huh? It's a fraction of an original. Okay, listen closely. Remember I told you, I said right up at the top, underneath multiplication, I said write this, fraction of an original value. Fraction of an original value. Armand, look up at the board. Here in the question, it says she eats 3/4 of the sandwich, and we know how big the sandwich is. The sandwich is 4 3/4 inches long. So I am going to take the sandwich and I'm going to multiply it by 3/4. When you see fraction of a value, you are taking that value and multiplying it by that fraction. So we are taking the size of the sandwich, 4 3/4, and we are going to multiply it by 3/4. That's going to come out to 57/16. And if you convert that, it's 3 9/16. So that's how many inches of the sandwich she actually ate. You have to be mindful of those key phrases and key words that represent multiplication or division. Go ahead and flip it on over to the next page. What I want you guys to do, don't solve. Do you hear me? You're not going to solve. You're just going to circle what keywords or phrases you think are going to represent multiplication or division inside of the problem. What keywords or phrases are you using as a multiplication or division? You are not solving anything, just identifying multiplication or division in those next few problems. So everybody is on here. Kaden, look at your paper. Everybody's on here working through these and identifying keywords for multiplication and division. Take 2 minutes. You should have had that it was a division problem. Okay, a painter has 16 3/5 pints of paint. He needs to paint 4.5 rooms. So what you're doing is you're wanting to split this. You want to know how much is he using in each room. That keyword each means that you are going to divide. Okay, for problem number 5, Mrs. Matthews buys deli meat for her kids' lunches every week. She buys 3.75 pounds of ham. If she uses 0.25 pounds of ham for each sandwich, how many sandwiches can she make? That's also going to be division. I know that there's an each inside of, like right here in the statement, but that is actually inside the question, right? The entire statement she's using here is part of the question. She's using this for each sandwich. So then how many sandwiches is she going to make? That's going to be a division problem. For problem number 6, Marathon Digital Movies is having a sale. Customers can download 13 movies for $15.99. How much does each movie cost? That's in the question. Again, it's inside of the question. So therefore you have a division problem. It's divide. Each inside of the question is division. If there's each inside that's not in the question, then that would be multiplication. All right, Jasper plans to serve cheese and crackers as an appetizer as his next meal. He buys 0.8 pounds of cheddar cheese. If the cheese costs $3.35 per pound, then how much is he going to spend? That's going to be a multiplication problem. You are going to be multiplying. Okay? Andy bought 18.5 pounds of fruit for a class party. The class ate 2/5 of the fruit. Again, there, 2/5 of the fruit, and we know how much fruit he bought. That's going to be a multiplication problem as well. Okay, so you've got 3 division problems and 2 multiplication problems. 3 division, 2 multiplication. Go ahead and work them out. You know the operations, start working them out. Okay, taking a look here, you should have done 16 3/5 divided by 4 1/5. You would have gotten 83 over 21, which is going to come out to 3 20 over 21. For problem number 5, the order of division should be 3.75 divided by 0.25. That's going to come out to 15, which makes sense because she's talking about how many sandwiches she can make. Okay, you can't have a fraction of the sandwich for it. You're making whole sandwiches. For number 6, you've got the price, $15.99, and you're dividing it by the items, 13, and that's going to come out to $1.23. Okay, for problem number 7 and 8, those ones were multiplication. So you are just multiplying the 2 values together. So we're taking the price of $5.35, we're multiplying it by the quantity of 0.8, and that's going to come out to a total cost of $4.28 that's being spent. For problem number 8, you're taking the amount of fruit, the 18.5 pounds, and you're multiplying it by 2/5. That's going to come out to 7.4, or if you wanted to write it in fraction form, mixed number form, that'd be 7 2/5. Okay.